How yes? How y'all doing? Before I get into this discourse, this rant, say, bleep. Yeah, really bad allergies this year. There's never been anything like them. But before I get into this, it's got the Rona. Uh, I'm talking about that parallel society idea of being there but not serving it. Uh, I'm migrating my social media presence to Parler. I'll put a link in the comments below to where there. Basically, there's two reasons for this. One, Facebook it's become boring. It feels very old and obsolete now. Also, it's I only I'll try to keep the account open as long as I can, but it's kind of doomed because Facebook's new terms of service are absolutely brutal. Basically, if you were ever a bad boy or a bad girl on Facebook, your account will be deleted with the new terms of service. You will be removed. You will not be allowed into their new promised land of woke, liberal, NPC Facebook. And so if I think it's the end of this month that the thing happens. Terms of service are upgraded, and so potentially maybe hundreds of thousands of people could lose their accounts, and they don't care because they've got so much money, and there's enough idiots out there to keep them going. I'll try to keep my Facebook open, but my main presence, I'll just use it to cause human misery for the establishment and the woke until they get rid of me. The only thing I really like Facebook now is the messenger. It's actually easier than email in many ways. That's handy for that. But other than that, it just seemed that I've always had a good laugh there. And on the old account that was destroyed by Carrie Lee Miller of Lifting the Veil on the YouTube channel, she's a lunatic, and she'd also been groomed by those two liars, but and sacrificed, I might add, like all the other people they groomed. And the the new one was hilarious fun we had on it. But in the last week or so, there's a kind of, I think, there's a kind of like a darkness come over it. And I looked around at other social media things, and MeWe seemed kind of promising, but it's also kind of a pain in the bollocks as well. It's got like all these emojis. I don't want to answer a question, respond to a post with emojis, and I just want to, a thumbs up type thing, something simple. And that's why I looked at Parler, and yeah, it's nice and simple. You don't have to put your real identity on it if you don't want, though I am, obviously. But otherwise, it seems pretty good. It seems pretty promising, I have to say. Now, I could go with the shit as well, but I'm going to give it a fair whack. So, if you want to join me if you're Irish, come into the parlour. That's an actual song, and I'll put the link down below, and come along and say, even if you don't like social media, I'm going to try and I'm not going to be too political on it, by the way. I want to keep it to my other work, magic, megaliths, and mythology, and kind of interesting stuff like that, Lovecrafty, occult, Fortean stuff, which I'm my true love. But yeah, it's part of this parallel society, and as the Rona lockdown mentality continues to evolve, as they make it up as they go along. I saw a story today that now it destroys sperm counts in men. They're saying today that the COVID-19 destroys sperm counts in men. It'll by increasing the size of their testicles. Now, I thought having a big pair of bollocks was a good thing, but apparently, I mean, it's like the contradictions are amazing. They obviously want less population, and then they say, ooh, everything's gaslighted. Oh, be careful, your bollocks might swell if you get COVID, and you won't be able to have children. This kind of thing. And I read today that the Irish birth rate for native Irish is the lowest it's been in 150 years since records began. And a lot of it has to do with abortion. There was something like 6,600 abortions in Ireland last year. And I'm not anti-abortion, by the way. I'm just saying, it immediately has impacted on population trends. And there's a lot of truth to be said for the fact that, okay, I don't think abortion should be illegal. I think it should be legal. There's always going to be reasons for it that's going to be needed. But it's definitely true what these people say, that abortion was really designed as a way of terminating the middle class, because that's who most likely has it. And it's definitely true. You can definitely see that, and but that's, that I'm not going to get into the moral religious aspects of that. As a pagan, I believe in reincarnation anyway, so it wouldn't be an issue. And also, I know it sounds a bit creepy and harsh, but we all now look around us. We now know how many NPCs that don't have souls. There aren't even fully human around us. Are they really such a loss? And most of them seem to be middle class too. Are they really such a loss? Well, there's no soul in there to begin with. They only grow up to be like echo chambers of government and corporate policy. And speaking of masks, today there wasn't a lot of masks around, and especially younger people. I saw a lot of young people, like student age, early 20s, high school, were not wearing masks today. Of course, you had the big fucking mugs, I'm a hard man with the fucking, with the fucking gobshite burqa, the one that goes like that, it'll give you dirty looks. There's one guy I really thought today he was going to give me a hard time in the post office. He almost, I could see he was this close to wanting to say something to me, a big fuck, he wanted to say something to me, where's your fucking mask, this kind of thing. And I'd say, go buy some ice cream for that 9-year-old boy you have back in your house. And, that fucking dickhead. But there's a sort of I was in a shop yesterday and I was buying sausages. I know that sounds kind of mundane, but I don't know why I decided to tell you what I was buying. I was buying sausages, right? It's starting to sound like Christopher Walken. Yeah, I was buying sausages, and it was good. Yeah, it was good. The sausages were good. Yeah. And so I was buying sausages, sausages, and there was an African gentleman there. I identified him as an African man by two things. I racially profiled him by one, he had black skin, and two, he went, "Well, how are you today, my friend? How are you?" And he had one of those like West African accents, which I really like. And he comes up to me and he had the big mask on him and he was stocking the shelves in the shop. And he goes, "It's a beautiful day today." And I go, yeah. And he goes, "It'd be more beautiful if I did not have to wear this mask." And I said, yeah. I said, this is one of the few times in life I'm glad I have asthma. And he goes, "Yeah, you're lucky, And he goes, and then I said to him, and then he goes, he goes, "It's a beautiful day, but you don't know if anyone is smiling because their faces, their mouths are covered." And I said, "Well, there, that's it." And I says, your soul. So I started having this existentialist philosophical discussion with this gentleman from Africa. Sausages, and with a bag of sausages in my hand, right? And I says to him, well, your whole face is your soul. And he goes, "It is, it is." And he goes, please God, it will be over that soon. And we can get back to normal life. I don't like this. I do not like you have to see people, and I don't know if they're smiling or not." And then I said, yes, don't worry about it. I says, look, you will just enjoy the nice weather. And he goes, you have the right attitude. You have the right attitude. And then, with sausages in hand, I went to pay for them. And I walked off and I was thinking to myself, you know, here's this man from Africa. He emigrates to Ireland. He gets a job. He's a very nice man. And he can't be an African man. I saw his skin color, and his language, his accent of he's from West Africa, obviously, and but he's he was next to the Irish fellas and the Polish girls and the Lithuanian people, the girls, and there's a Chinese girl there, and there's a Chinese granny there has a huge crush on me. And God, when I came back from after the lockdown, she was like, "Oh, Tommy, I'm so happy you're back. I missed you so much." So I'm actually totty. I'm actually a piece of ass with all the Chinese ladies. So still got it. But uh, you know, like in most all grocery convenience stores in Ireland, you get every race working there, as well as Irish people, and they all had the masks on, and I was thinking to myself, like, well, his being Mr. West Africa with that accent and his, that sort of a personality, that kind of style they have, it's now lost. He's just a fella in the convenience store corporate uniform stocking the shelves. There's less of that man. You understand? And then the Polish girl, who might be making sandwiches behind the counter, she's a mask on as well, and there's less of her. So she's less of she's wearing the same corporate uniform as the fella, right? The jumper and the short and the trousers, right? And she's wearing the same thing as well. And she's not as much a Polish girl as she was. You know what I'm saying? She's just another Borg. And then the Lithuanian fella who might be stocking the wine, and then the Irish lady who's doing the checkout, and then on the other checkout, a Brazilian chap, and they're all wearing, and they're just the Borg. They're just there, and if they didn't have that mask on, and I also noticed with the mask on, they're less likely to talk with. It's muffled, especially for the immigrants and the foreigners, or they can't. It's difficult for their accent doesn't work as well, or you could hear an Irish person's accent right away, or an English person I know, but that might be tricky for them. So it stopped people from talking. So it's demolished the personalities in so many ways. This is they talk about diversity, but the mask has basically destroyed that. Just like the burqa has destroyed diversity, like in Islam. And it's destroyed diversity in these people. So I'm walking out with my bag of sausages, and I'm looking at them. You see, I'm very philosophical. This is, you don't want to live in my mind most of the time because you probably go fucking nuts. But I'm very sort of like, I'm very philosophical. And I look at the bag of good quality sausages, by the way. And I'm looking at the sausages, and there's all there's 8 of them in the bag, in the wrapper, and they all look the same, and they're all the same length, and they're all the same size. And I'm looking at the sausages, and there's 8 people in the shop, and there's no difference. The mask has made the people in the shop, despite their different ethnic backgrounds and cultures that they come from, the same as the sausages in the pack. They're just there. They're just all uniform, in formation, and it got me thinking that, like, this is the world they want. This is the world they want, a demolition of the self through the method of the psychic terrorism of this COVID-19 hysteria. And the mask has done more to demolish. You see, yes, it's on one hand we learning. The Rona let us know who are real, who we are around us, who the shitbags are around us. Who the types that if you were Anne Frank would report you to the Gestapo. It's allowed us to figure that out. It's also robbed all of us. Well, I don't wear one, and of our uniqueness, right down to our, not just the smile on your face and your kissy lips and your moustache and your herpes sore if you have one, but right down to yourself. You're just you're the mask. Now, who wears masks in the past, right? Well, you have like the Bal d'Or in Venice, where they have the masked balls, and they wear the mask that comes out of a tradition, a masquerade that comes out of pagan world, where the mask was used if you were shy. And they found that it was easier for a man to approach a woman than a woman to talk to a man in a dance situation if they both wore masks. It was helping shy, but the mask was up here. The shy people. But it's to hide. Now, if you take that mask off at the masked ball, you may walk up to you may see a beautiful girl and she's wearing a mask, and you walk up to her and say, would you like to dance, miss? And if that mask wasn't on there, you wouldn't have the nerve to do it. What are you doing? You're hiding. You're hiding yourself, your true self. Your true self, not that you're a bad person, but your true self is you would be too scared to ask her otherwise. And the mask is the same. This mask, and that's the same with the burqas in Islam. The true self is hidden, and therefore you're reduced to a unit there where you can just work on whatever is needed in that situation. And there's a whole esoteric thing with masks. I should do a film for Beyond Room 313 about it. But there's a whole esoteric thing around the mask and the covering of the face. And the esoteric agenda is definitely in the mask. It definitely is. Just like it's in other things, like the Black Lives Matter thing, the taking the knee. That's very esoteric. And it's some of it's very Freemasonic. Remember that video of that photograph of all the Democrats with Nancy Pelosi on their knees, on the one knee, when your man George Floyd finally kicked his drug habit, and the if your family member had been killed by a copper, and that copper was a scumbag as well, piece of shit, and put by a knee resting on your neck. Would you want to be reminded of that all the time? Like if your daughter, God forbid, was raped and murdered, would you want the people to remember your daughter by simulating a rape and murder? And that's what they're doing with the George Floyd thing. It was creepy, and definitely esoteric. There's something about Black Lives Matter that reminds me of the Nazi occult. I haven't quite put my finger on it, but there's not a lot of difference between the going down on one knee and the blood banner of the blood banner they had when the beer hall pushed in Munich in 1930 or 1929, was it? Whatever it was, failed. Okay, the 27 it might have been failed. The people around Adolf Hitler were gunned down in a hail of bullets, and he miraculously didn't get hit, but all around him they did. And one of them was holding a banner that had blood on it, and then that became the blood banner. And so when all the SS and other regiments were divisions and different companies they'd have their banner, their insignia, touch the blood banner, to move the magic power of the sacrifice in Munich at the beer hall pushed into that banner. Now I see the same thing going down on one knee. It's the same thing of going down on one knee. It's the same transfer of the death energy, and it just shows how morbid and dark these people are. And of course, there's horrible injustices that happen with police and civilians, and black men are more likely to be killed and arrested and everything else in America and so on. I do feel bad about that. I mean, it is the legacies of things like slavery run very, very long, and I know a lot of you conservative types out there will be laughing at me right now, but I do feel a strong sadness there. I mean, your man George Floyd was just no good. I mean, his criminal record was repugnant. And so to celebrate him as a hero was like, it's the last one you should be, but at the same time there was lots of good African American men who have been victims of police brutality and so on, and we don't remember them. Isn't it weird? Isn't it? Like, it's like, why do we remember him? It's because it was caught on camera, and the copper was obviously a piece of shit. And also, I'd like to say about the riots in Michigan, was it, or Wisconsin? The Where they shot your man, your man that looks like Fatty Arbuckle, who shot the Black Lives Matter or whoever they were, Antifa protesters. Yeah, at the time I was like kind of sad about it, thinking it was just like young people throwing their lives away. But then I found out that the guy he shot was 35-year-old sex offender. Imagine being 35 years old and dying with a child's skateboard in your hand, when all the things you could have done in life for a black people in America who see right through your pandering. That's what they do. They see right through it. They laugh at it. And imagine dying for that. And I don't want to get involved in the whole racial thing because I don't like it. I don't. I will never. I've no interest in skin politics and ethnic. I'm fascinated by people of different races and different ethnic groups. The only thing that scares the shit out of me is religion. Totally scares the shit out of me. And other than that, I'm very, very liberal in terms of things like that. And but that was that kind of did my head in, seeing that poor man, seeing that man, not the poor man, but the man with the mask on his face from Africa, and then realizing that he'd been de-ethnicized by the mask. So had the Polish girl, and so had the Irish lady, and so had the Lithuanian fella. They'd all been robbed of who they are. And I'm interested in their cultures. I'm interested in someone who's from another country and culture. I'm fascinated by it. I like talking to them about it. I like learning about other cultures. I'm a true multiculturalist. But that's not diversity. Diversity is taking all our beautiful, what the political diversity today is taking all our beautiful differences and mushing them into that package of sausages. So it's all uniform and can be processed easily. Processed meat. That's what they're turning the human race into. Processed meat. Now, again, it's like everything else. There are people who will be exceptional and will rise above this. I saw, like, but there's other ones who love the mask. It makes them feel, And here's another thing. There's the sexual element of it. I've been loving you, baby, putting the mask on, right? And the star. But it's also what we're discovering. That transableist thing where people want the disability so they can get sympathy off others. Usually the fake depression crowd have always used that. Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. Oh, I'm so depression. Oh, I can't do nothing until he has a chance to do something, like, and suddenly he's cured, or she's cured. I need you to be my rock. I've got depression. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. I'm depressed. And then until someone says you want to go down a strip club. Yeah, those types. That was kind of like a transable thing. I know there's people that really have depression, but I know there's fucking fakers as well, who it's a great way of getting out of life. And that a lot of those, I see a lot of these ones who have a transableist thing when it comes to the mask. It's like, I'm disabled now. I've seen it. I'm just like Christy Brown in My Left Foot. Pity me. I see. You see, I remember, like, and I saw a few of them, because I don't have many normies on my Facebook list, but they were like, I've been tested positive for COVID. Like all the celebrities are all doing that. Pity me. This kind of thing. I'm telling you, it's the greatest fucking education ever. Greatest fucking education ever. And then there's other ones who will be putting the mask on to show I care. Yes, I do. I wear my mask. I fucking care. I wear my mask everywhere. to show the world that I'm saving them from a disease that really is not so bad. But I got my mask. Yeah, baby. Woo! Fucking, that's what's out there as well. And it's not this virtue signalers. And the NPCs are loving being having their personalities demolished because they don't have them to begin with. You know, you know. Do you not think wearing the mask will somehow dehumanize you? Huh? Hmm? Hmm? Those types. And the other types. Oh, another thing they're doing now in Ireland is that there's a story was in the journal.ie the other day. The journal.ie, Darwin's waiting room, as the comments section should be called, and the the thing was, this is a very serious week for the government. They're going to sit down and decide what they're going to do about pub openings. The government are like this. I can give you pub. If you do as I say, I'll give you pub. And they're like, give me pub. Give me pub, government. Please give me pub. I will give you pub. They should do a fucking Rona musical. I will give you pub if you do us. Give me pub. Give me pub. It'd be a fucking great musical, that would be. It'd be like fucking Mask, And they're like, a glimmer of hope. We're going to get our pubs back. We're going to get our pubs back. I'm going to get back to the pub. Please give me pub back. And it's like, we're meeting. We're meeting. And shall I give you pub back? Have you served me enough for pub? Oh, Jesus, what will we do? I'll do anything to get the bleeding pubs open. How about you wear a mask, naked, and go outside? I'll do it. They would do it, I am the lord of the pub. It's like I am here, and that's what the government are acting like here. That's what the fuckers are acting like. The lords of the pub, not Lord of the fucking rings. The lords of the fucking pubs. Yeah, they are one fucking ring piece to rule them all. That's that your man, the Conehead, the Minister for Health. One ring piece to move them all. Yeah, that's just what it's fucking like. The script, hold up a government report. The script, it looks like an ancient form of Elvish. And there's me with that's Gandalf. Throw it away. It's the tongue of bureaucrats, which I will not utter inside this house. You've got to laugh at it. This is what it's like. It's what it's like, one ring piece to rule them all. One ring piece to mask them. One ring piece to pretend to open the pubs. And in the darkness, vaccinate them. That's what it's fucking like. That's what it's fucking like. And, yeah, that's what it's like. And the government wants them on their knees going, give me pub. Give me pub. That's what they're like. Give me pub. That's what they want. That's what they want. They literally, I can see it. I can fucking taste it. They're in government buildings going, look, we have these fucking animals well trained. These performing seals, we have them well trained. We have them practically. And when they give the pubs, they go, when they do, give me pub, right? Give me, and one, we'll give you your pub. We'll give you your pub on one condition. That you can drink only 2 pints. Then you must walk outside, ride a bicycle to the Blarney Stone, go to the top of the castle, come down from the Blarney Stone, cycle up to the Ring of Kerry, then jump in the sea and swim all the way back to Dublin around the coast, and then you can have your third pint. That's what it'll be like. That's what it'll be fucking like. This is the fucking humiliation Grand National. They're just loving humiliating them. And it's interesting that they pick on the kind of wild cultures, the Irish, the Australians, the maverick ones. You know, even the English, they're kind of wild. Scots especially, they really battered them down. And it's just all about training us. Well, not training, maybe training us like animals. And your job is to not get upset by it. Your job is not to get hurt by it or feel rotten about it. Your job is to sit and wait. To sit and wait and just observe and develop for yourself a better way for you to live. Because look, it's the greatest education that we've ever had, right? But an education is no use to you unless you use it, okay? And learn to use it. That's we're learning things. And what we're learning is there's a lot more of us. Anything to go by the numbers watching videos and stuff online. There's a lot more of us at home who are pissed off and seeing right through the carnival of humiliation that passes for government policy in the form of psychic terrorism. Remember, the day will come when they won't be able to do it anymore. And you will remember. Hello, we're running for election. If you still vote and you say, I'm not voting, if you live in Ireland, I'm not voting for Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the Greens, Sinn Féin, and the rest of you. I'm going to vote for a party who would have not went along with this. And you remember that. I don't have a business because of you. I don't have my fundamental relationship with my community has changed because of you lot. And then they say, but the whole world did it. And then you'll go, but Sweden did it. And Sweden is going to be like, we must never lose sight of that. That if ever a politician knocks on your door, we have to lock the place down, the whole world was doing them. You say, Sweden didn't. Sweden did it. And it's almost like, but then but there's more dead in Sweden. No, there isn't. Here's the facts. Hold it up. Now, get the fuck away from me, you traitor. Get the fuck away from my family and your business. And prepare for you to no longer exist. And you'll see a new political system arise in Ireland where people who will be vehemently anti-EU, vehemently pro, I won't say the word nationalist, but like care about the country, and it'll all be spawned out of the ones who will be damaged by the Rona lockdown. That's what will happen. I can see it, I can feel it, I can taste it. The magic is turning. It's twisting. Remember that. Don't call them by their first names. How are you, John? This is Paddy here, Excuse me, don't you call me John. You don't know me. You're not my friend. And I'm not calling you Paddy either. I thought we were mates. I'm your local councillor. That's all over. This country has been destroyed by people. They're going to be held accountable. And this is where we will have a Nuremberg trials of the heart on a micro level. We all must be like the Nuremberg trials. Remember who squealed on their neighbours, who was the real bastard when the lockdown was on and forcing the whole thing, who was the politician who seemed to be the most enjoying it, putting you down, locking you down. Never, what party were they with especially? The party tries to say, oh, well, I wasn't in the party then when they destroyed the country with the lockdown. And you'll say, I don't fucking care. There's, We're still holding Nazis responsible today for the behavior of the Third Reich. We're still holding Bolsheviks for the behavior of the communists. I'm holding you responsible, your party, as collectively responsible for the legacy that you've left. Remember, this we're going to get our. It's just we're going. It's like that movie Michael Collins, where the scene where they're first arrested after the 1916 thing. The surrender, and they're all in a compound, and the British officer says to the guy from Dublin Castle, the detective, "Show me who are the leaders of this bullshit." And on the ground there's James Connolly, who's very seriously injured. He'd been shot in the foot, just beside the river. In real life, that really happened. And the guy kicked James Connolly, and he kicked him. And Michael Collins wanted to go and jump and strangle the guy. And De Valera, the guy playing De Valera, who was man, who was at the time? The guy who was in was it Ray Fiennes? I think it was. He holds back. No, it wasn't. It's another guy. I can't remember his name. The guy that was in Harry Potter. He holds back Michael Collins, Liam Neeson, and he said, "Just wait, Michael. Just wait." And these bureaucrats, these heroes, and all these people may be full of, and all the ones in your neighborhood who were full of piss now, making your life miserable, causing all this bullshit. But one day this will be over. And on a personal macro level, we'll hold them accountable. We will not, shops that treated their staff that treated you like shit for not having a mask, don't shop at them ever again. If they're a chain, don't shop on them ever again. This kind of thing. That kind of thing. Remember the one on your street who tried to be smart, saying, how come he didn't come out last night when they were banging for the NHS? If you hear them, if their house is on fire, let the fucking thing burn. If they drop that in the street in front, if they fall down a heart attack in front of you, walk over them. This is the only way we can pay back for what they've done to us. Especially those of you who've lost your small businesses. It's the only way you can pay back. Keep a database in your head. And then all the politicians and all the party they were involved with and all the carry on, you remember that the ones who were the worst, and you hold them accountable. And forever on a micro level, you're not going to get justice on the global scale, but there's little victories every day you can do to deal with that. The newspapers that were the most attacking people who questioned the virus the most, the pandemic the most, not the virus. Virus is real. The ones who spewed out the most propaganda. Just remember them, and there's lots of ways. There's lots of little ways, of getting them back, and you will find that that's all you have to do is wait, because right now they're protected by the false theater of this pandemic, but that false theater is going to end one day, and you will have your opportunity then, but you're coming out that like if you even had a friend or a relative who was like slagged you off, oh fucking conspiracy theorist, trust the fucking science, you fucking idiot, and they knock on your door to go, yeah, we're going out to the pub tonight. Nah, why not? I don't want to socialize with you. I don't like you. You don't even say that. You're just like, I'm just not into it. Give them the cold shoulder. It's just like, no, you're calling people who actually did research into this stuff conspiracy theorists because they didn't take the word of the government propaganda agencies at mainstream news like it was it was gospel truth. To use a Christian analogy. And, what's wrong with him? What's his problem? Well, I didn't ask you what your fucking problem was when you were slagging me off for questioning this agenda and calling me a fucking idiot and stuff like that. Yeah, you didn't. This is how, and that's part of the parallel society thing. It's like we're moving on now, and you really don't have a place in my future, and that includes all of you who are gloatingly and enthusiastically. Now I know there's innocent and naive people who got caught up in this thing, and they didn't mean any harm. But if you think about it, they try to get back with you, and they try to say when 2021 in midpoint next year, when your national suicide rates are released for 2020, and you see that there has been a a genocide of your fellow citizens as a result of the lockdown. These people are as guilty as the ones who helped the Nazis. They're as guilty as the ones who helped the Bolsheviks. And why you might never get justice straight away, you'll just say, no, I told them that the lockdown is going to cause lots of suicides, and they still laughed and joked at me. And it'll happen especially when the furloughs end, and the money that they're getting from the government, the pandemic payments end. And then they'll start getting angry and stuff like that, and then you throw it around to them and say, your own fault. Your own fault. You endorsed everything. And you'll see it. They'll do it to them. They will treat the bureaucrats will treat their most loyal subjects like dogs. They will. And this, like I've said, building a parallel society. Walk on. Just walk the fuck on. And it's one thing I share, it's like, it's amazing how the NPC thing began just on the cusp of the Rona. It's almost like we got a foreshadowing of what was to come, the NPC, of what we were going to encounter. And it was almost like a foreshadowing, a space. I don't know if you've seen my 9/11 Stargate thing, but the coronavirus was the C-19 Stargate. Now, what I mean by this is, because time doesn't exist. That's just basically a clock speed thing created by a universe, and sync to things like the rotation of the planets and stuff like that, the sun, Earth around the sun, and so on. But because time itself doesn't exist, everything happens in the universe at the same time. Time is just a regulated, quantifying thing. The clock speeds of our brain are all different. Now, just what happens is then, if you have a major event in the psychic field, it foreshadows and blows back in time. And it blows back in time. And that's what happened 9/11. All these people who, it's the famous Simpsons thing, 9/11, and all these cartoons and movies and ads that had like 9/11 and things in them. That wasn't predictive programming. That was blasted backwards in time, which people picked up on. And I'm convinced now that the NPC the cartoon and the cartoon and the NPC thing was the mask wearers of the Rona blasting back in time. From the psychic shock of the COVID-19 global lockdown and the psychic trauma of that, blew back in time and manifested as the NPC archetype. And I'm absolutely convinced of it now. Convinced of it. And now, what does that tell you? That's a shock point in the development of human. In the way 9/11 was a shock point in development of humans, because the whole world was watching it. The whole world was also, it has to take its whole planetary thing, was locked down the Rona, flashed back in time. And this, the 2012 Olympic opening that Freeman figured out, I can remember back in, is this Project Bluebeam we're even talking about now? I'm even wondering about that. It's just been rebranded for a virus instead of something else. Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is live your good life, take care of the ones you love, and keep an observational nature about you, and see things in mythology and archetypes, and you'll be fucking fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. I know it's a drag from day to day, and I get constant messages from people saying, I feel like everyone around me has gone insane. No, what's happening is you're getting better. That's the thing. You're becoming sane. You're becoming sane, because this whole Rona thing has exposed the pathological psychosphere of Western society. and what it's the madness of liberalism, both in every level, and as well as and conservatism and everything else, and the political system and the media system. It's exposed the madness of it in a very Luciferian way. And that's a good thing because you're now seeing the truth of what it is. So you're not, when you sit at home going with your husband, going, are we the only people in the world that, and I got these emails quite a bit, are we, we sit at home thinking that we're the only people in the world, and that's not meant, that's not nuts. And then we watch your videos and we think, God, thank God someone's there to articulate it. Well, the news is you're becoming you're becoming cured of the psychopathic control grid. You're becoming healed. Ironically, you're developing an immune system to the greatest pathogen that ever existed on this planet, the psychopathic control grid. And that's what's happening to you. You're becoming healed. And guess what? Enjoy your good health and you'll be happy. See you all next time. Love you. Good night. Oh, and don't forget Parlour.